The night was eerily tranquil as Eliza Thorn approached Ashwood Manor, a once grand estate now wrapped in mystery. Locals spoke of strange happenings and shunned its perimeter, trading whispers of half-seen figures and flickering window lights that dared anyone to investigate. Eliza, a seasoned journalist with an eye for uncovering the enigmatic, felt drawn to it, compelled by an unshakable urge to reveal the hidden truths concealed within its aged walls. As she crossed the threshold, the oppressive air of the manor enveloped her like a cold shadow. The immense foyer stretched out, burdened with darkness, with only scattered shards of moonlight breaching the barricade of grime-coated windows. Long abandoned chandeliers hung from the ceiling like skeletal remnants, their crystals swaying gently with unseen forces. Eliza paused, allowing her eyes to adjust to the dimness. Her flashlight flickered on, casting a narrow beam across the room that flickered momentarily, a harbinger of the night's coming oddities. She felt a peculiar sensation, an itch at the back of her neck that she couldn't shake. Yet she pressed forward, her footsteps muffled by layers of dust that clung to once picturesque parquet. The first room she entered was a ballroom, its high ceiling lost in shadows. Spectral images of opulent galas danced in Eliza's mind as she scanned the neglected grandeur surrounding her. Faded murals hinted at a bygone elegance, painted figures seemingly moved with the shifting light, and their eyes, painted yet vivid, trailed her every move. A sudden rustle drew Eliza's attention to the far corner of the room. An unexpected chill swept over her, causing her breath to hitch, and the beam of her flashlight wavered. Approaching cautiously, she discovered an antique mirror, its glass inexplicably unblemished amidst the decay. It stood as a silent guardian, daring her to peer within. When she did, Eliza saw not her own reflection, but a darker image, a shadow of herself, staring back with hollow eyes that glistened with knowledge unfathomable. The figure mouthed silent words, and Eliza strained to discern their meaning. The encounter was abruptly severed by a loud creak from above. Startled, she jerked back, and when she looked again, the mirror displayed only her own bewildered gaze. Determined to press on, Eliza left the bylay in pursuit of the source of the noise. Her path took her up a grand, sweeping staircase where each step whined underfoot, playing an unsettling melody into the cavernous silence. The second floor unfurled ahead, with doorways like gaping mouths leading to darkened chambers. One corridor ended at a heavy oak door, slightly ajar. Just beyond, she heard low, indiscernible murmurs. The sound beckoned to her, familiar yet disturbing, like an echo from a forgotten memory. Inside, Eliza found a lavish study, its walls lined with volumes whose spines were softened with age. A desk dominated the center of the room, its surface cluttered with yellowed papers and tarnished silverware. But what drew her here was not the room's contents. It was the feeling, like an old carpet unraveling beneath her mind. A sense of unwelcome intrusion enveloped her. She was not alone. Yet, the study was empty, save for the specter of those whispered voices still curling at the edge of hearing. Eliza, compelled by an unseen force, reached out toward the desk. Her hand brushed against a leather-bound tome, and as she pulled it gently towards her, a chill seized her. The book fell open to the center. Scrawled handwriting filled the pages, cursive, elegant, yet marred by passages scratched out violently. Eliza's eyes flitted across the text, catching fragments, an intrusion upon us, and never alone, sparking something within her, a recognition of a deeper lurking menace. Again, the silence was rent by an abrupt noise, a thud like an object falling, accented by the sharper sound of glass breaking. Eliza turned sharply, her flashlight got piercing the musty gloom towards its source. Her heart raced faster than her thoughts, propelling her from the study. Back in the corridor, she noticed the dim light under another door, one she was certain had been closed before. It beckoned ominously, a sliver of light bathed in shadows. Resolute but wary, Eliza approached and pushed it open, revealing a small gallery space. The room was a stark contrast, with its walls adorned with portraits those whose eyes seemed too lifelike, animating the silence with an unyielding gaze. At first glance, the faces were dignified, aristocratic, but closer scrutiny revealed distorted expressions, features subtly wrong, a jitter of wrongness that turned the stomach. In the center stood another mirror, this one grand and gilt-edged. Without hesitation, somehow knowing or dreaming of this moment, she approached. The mirror was warm to the touch, charged with a potent energy. Her own reflection stared back, but in its eyes she saw not fear but defiance. The reflection's movement was just a half beat behind, watchful, calculating. Eliza whispered, "Who are you?" A gossamer thread of connection reached between her and the reflection, answering with an eerie familiarity. "I am what they have made me, and what you fear to become." This reflection was no mere image, but a presence tethered here, a vessel of something long held captive within the manor's confines. As the realization dawned, the air shifted, and at once her surroundings felt suffused with potential, electricity barely restrained. Eliza stepped back, reeling. Her mind raced over the fractured puzzle haunted by this place's history. The manor, the portraits, the whispers, echoes of past owners who sought to trap their fears and desires within its very structure. These souls had become woven into its walls, a collective consciousness festering beneath the facade of luxurious decay. Suddenly, a guttural rumble shuddered through the manor, as if it too protested her prying into its secrets. Plaster dust fell like grimy snow. The house, it seemed, had finally awakened. Eliza felt an unseen force tugging her back toward the mirror, a gravitational pull by the reflection that now reached toward her with outstretched hands. She resisted, struggling against its draw, her mind chanting reminders of reality, of escape. Yet there was something more, a plea, a cry for understanding and release. She dared to reach out once more, touching the mirror's surface. The glass rippled like water, enveloping her fingers in a cool, inexplicable embrace. "Help us!" The reflection's voice implored clearly now. Not just her words, but a cascade of emotions pouring out. "Tell me how!" Eliza shouted, desperation cutting through the fear. But before any response could form, the connection snapped violently. The house groaned in protest, throwing her backward onto the cold, hard floor. The world spun, and Eliza blinked rapidly. She lay outside the gallery, the door now closed tightly as if nothing peculiar had transpired. The weight of the silence was deafening, its emptiness swallowing the echoes of desperate cries. Exhaustion seeped into her bones. The journey had taken a toll far more than physical fatigue. It was the weight of carrying a curse undiscovered. As she staggered to her feet, something within settled with resolve. She would not let the manor's history, its lingering souls, be forgotten or continue their haunted existence perpetually. Despite the oppressive air, Eliza mounted the stairs, aware now that she would not leave without confronting the truth fully. She knew what she needed. Release for the souls trapped in malignancy, perhaps buried beneath layers of time and solitude. The final room eluded her no longer. A faded sign hung from its handle. No entry. As she grasped the door and entered, a realization coiled in her mind. No entry granted to those unafflicted by history's grasp until now. In its heart, a small writing desk lay, glowy and weakly with the guardian light of a dying candle atop it. Here, documents remained preserved, untampered by time or entropy. She rifled through them, letters of despair and fear chronicled, relinquishing the true curse of Ashwood. The voices, the whispers, they sought to preserve their innocence, echoes cast adrift in search of reclaiming forgotten humanity. As dawn began to banish the clinging shadows, Eliza understood what the manor demanded. Not merely acknowledgement, but liberation from its eternal bonds. The truth was simple. Their freedom, a mere shudder away from light's reach. Taking the candle, she held it to the brittle lettered papers, embers caught in the parched history. The flames spread, devouring the burden of secrets, casting away layers of darkness. The change was immediate. A soft breeze flowed through open windows, taking with it an inaudible sigh of gratitude, a moment's release from centuries of nowhere. Eliza stood back, nearly weeping at the bittersweet freedom she ushered. As the fire took, she stepped away, knowing she had pulled the thread unraveling Ashwood's tapestry of despair. Her path back through the manor felt different, lighter, not exposing something sinister, but blessed with an understanding that life echoes beyond sight, woven in whispers of lineage and loss. She exited the manor, the sun breaking open, spilling golden clarity on a road ahead, one with stories anew, perhaps lighter, unfurling like threads on the loom of time.